and YouTube. It's so good to see you here again today, all our beautiful economic warriors on this amazing Monday. I am Nastine.
And that would make me Peter.
And we are the co-founders of Explore Protect Entrepreneurial Haven. You are watching the...
Wait, what show is this?
the coffee shop conversation show for entrepreneurs. This is where we get together every week, once a week, for 1 hour with some of the most amazing entrepreneurs from around the world, and we just talk entrepreneurial stuff. We advise each other, we give each other tips, we share our experiences, and we just chat and get to know each other. It's literally like you're going into a coffee shop with your best ever group of friends, like the Friends sitcom, except all of them are entrepreneurs and we're just talking entrepreneurship. This is the one place in the world where for 1 hour every single week, you can connect with all the most amazing entrepreneurs from around the world. So if you're watching right now and hanging out on YouTube or Facebook, welcome. We are so happy to have you here. And please feel free to participate in the chat. And tell us a bit more about where you're from, what you're doing right now, so we can get to know you as well.
And don't forget that if you hear a conversation and you hear something in the conversation that you really like, well, the links in the description below will be of the people in this actual conversation. So just click on the links, check out the people, and contact them directly.
So today we're talking COVID-19 survival stories, entrepreneurial survivor stories. So I think this is going to be a very emotional but also very fun, heartwarming episode. Let's hope. So the way that this is going to work is if someone on the screen has something to share with us, we're going to ask them to put up their heart like so. If they put up their heart, me and Peter will make a note and we'll cue the hearts so that everyone can take part in the actual conversation. Once someone is done sharing their comment or question or whatever in the conversation, they will drop their name, their business, and a little bit about what they do, literally like 30 seconds what they do. So for example, Rita Skuman, Coaching with Heart, she coaches entrepreneurs through life.
With heart.
Yeah, something like that. So that's the way it's going to work. So in that way, you also get to know the actual people on the show, and you can see who you kind of resonate with more, who you maybe want to reach out to.
Who maybe has the answers that you need.
And Chris, our beautiful, amazing producer hiding in the corner right there, is going to be popping everyone's LinkedIn links in the description, like right after the show, so that you can literally just go and say, oh, I love this person, like I need to talk to them more. Let me just click on that LinkedIn link and connect and we can have a chat. And you can literally just say, like, listen, I saw you on the show, loved what you had to say, let's grab a coffee. And right there, you're connecting with some of the most amazing entrepreneurs in the world. And that's what it's all about, right, guys? It's not necessary to be alone in entrepreneurship anymore. I forget that continuously. And then I get so upset at everything. And like every now and again, Peter has to remind me, like, listen, you do actually have a tribe. You do have other entrepreneurs out there that may be struggling with the same things, maybe want to advise you, uplift you, give you support, just help. That's what we're there to do. So that's enough from me.
Well, I mean, I think the basics are that if you're doing it on your own, you're doing it wrong.
So stop doing it wrong. Do it the right way. Reach out to all the beautiful people on the screen. Right, guys? We're talking COVID-19 survival stories. And just before we get into that, I want to see some hearts if you want to chat. But we have a Renee and Darlene on the live stream watching right now saying hi. Hi, Darlene and Renee. We love you. Renee is one of the best web developers in the world. Darlene is the next Oprah of scam prevention. So we love having you. Please participate in the actual live chat and we'd love to make that part of the show. Okay, so I want to see hearts, people. COVID-19 survival stories. What do you guys have? Let's go with Chris.
Trying to click too many buttons at the same time. Anyway, hello. So does it count as a COVID survival story if you're still here? So the joke is, and just to share the story, I moved out of corporate due to various different reasons. And I left corporate at the end of 2019 with 3 large projects in my pocket. I prepared, right? And I was going to do all right. And then COVID happened and lockdown happened, and I lost all 3 projects. And you budget ahead for, okay, I'm starting a business for the next 2 years, blah, 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 blah. Could never have expected it. So on the one side, it was a huge challenge. But on the other side, I'm still here and I'm still fighting, and I still have a business that's growing finally and getting there. And the big point and the biggest tip and thing that I could say is I would not be sitting here literally in a house with a roof over my head and dinner cooking if it wasn't for a community and a village of people to work with. And that comes just from friends and family, yes, but also finding a group of people that I could work with that could help me, support me, give me advice, give me tips, hold my hand, take me through the journey. I've met some of the most amazing people through networking who have never given me work. I mean, how rude. They haven't referred any work my way. But you know what? They check in with me, and I can pick up the phone on a bad day and I can say, hey, you know what? Today was a bad day. I'm not feeling okay. And they're there for you. And that also makes a huge difference. So, you know, I think if you're still here and you're still doing business, that's the one thing. Well done. Well done. It's not been easy. 2, find a tribe of people and a group and a village of people that can work with you, and cut out the negatives. I had to cut my family out of my business because they weren't doing a very good supportive job. Hashtag just saying this is not on the internet for them to all see, but I had to cut them out completely. I don't share any of that detail because that support wasn't there that I needed. But get those people who have your back at the end of the day. And the third thing is yes, things are horrible. Yes, things have changed. Yes, it's been tough, but there's so many opportunities there. We're live on a digital platform. There's so many new opportunities there. You just got to find a group of people to help you get there. That's it for me, Chris Colby from Live to Dream. We reboot your marketing.
Thank you so much, Chris, and well done for surviving this far. I mean, I know it hasn't been easy, right? But we both still here. Well done to us. Thank you so much for mentioning that. I love that. Mr. Levy, you also have a COVID-19 survival story. Please do go ahead and share.
Yeah, Nestine, I think there's plenty COVID-19 survival stories out there, but I can just share mine. And I've actually had the privilege of working with some amazing people who have really survived and pushed through COVID and faced bigger challenges than I have. But I'll speak about mine. So the first 3 months, there were a couple of big lessons learned. And that was, the biggest lesson taught was focus on what you can control. This is the lesson I learned. Focus on what you can control, not what you can, because the circumstances and the environment was what it was. It was scary. People said to me, you coach in business, so you know, it's easy for you. You can coach on Zoom. And a big realization came that, well, even with Zoom, I couldn't, because businesses in the first 3 months were closed. So there were no businesses to coach in. And then the next thing came, what next? And I think a couple of lessons out of that was the power of purpose, the power of connectivity. That includes networking, and the power of connectivity and engaging. And what happened was I learned very quickly about the power of purpose. I had to turn to my purpose and decide, and I typed it in on my phone and decided, what am I going to do every day to contribute to my purpose within this environment? My vision hadn't changed, where I was going, how I was going to get there, it certainly did. And I think that laid the platform for me to be able to focus, to align with my purpose. And it got me off to engaging. The only way I could align to my purpose was to engage with people on a daily basis. And the platform to engage that I chose was LinkedIn. There are other platforms, but the main one for me was LinkedIn. And it was amazing what came out of that in terms of actually work. So there was work to be had globally, and just came from engaging and talking to people, not selling what I do, which I don't do, not even really with the intention of offering what it was, just to talk and to engage with people, because that's what we needed to do. And then on this tribe kept going right through the entire lockdown. Didn't miss the coffee shop shows, which were on a different day, but it still went on. And so that connectivity and the importance of connecting and finding that you're not alone out there, and everybody faces the same challenges, and what everybody shared in this tribe, how they were facing those challenges, always lit up something. I always had the wonderful privilege of learning from everybody on this tribe. There was always a light that came on, or some experience that we hadn't tried that was shared by other people. And I think we mustn't underestimate the power of people. And the last one I want to share is the 2 years have served a great, great platform to reflect, to continually reflect and review on our journey. And it's really about being that continuous reflection and review as to how adaptable we are to change, because it's happening quicker and quicker. And so we've got to do that more frequently. And I think those were the few things that helped me survive through COVID and become more laser focused in what I'm doing. And it's worked. So yeah, it hasn't been easy. It's been a challenge for everybody, but we can't keep sitting in the challenges. We need to identify the challenges, and then how do we move out of them? And so that's the story. It's a tough journey, but the driver behind that is a strong purpose and understanding what it is. That's Stephen from Dare to Be, Coaching and Beyond, coaching leaders in business.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Mr. Loerie. And what a beautiful COVID-19 survival story. I mean, I still remember. Do you remember when I was still thinking, like, I was watching the news headlines. I was like, COVID's never going to reach South Africa. Like, I was one of those people. You know, other people were buying masks, and I was like, what are you doing? Like, this is in China only. And then, boom. And then all of a sudden, everything is so uncertain. And how special if you can actually go back to your purpose. And I mean, your business has grown, Mr. Loerie, internationally. So that just shows you the power of purpose. I love that. Okay, so one of the most amazing things is right now, I just want to quickly introduce you to John from the Pink Loerie organization, non-profit organization, joining us as a special guest on this show today. Chris literally just managed to confirm. So this is absolutely amazing, John. We're so happy to have you on the show, and we can't wait to hear more about the publication that you guys are doing as well on the COVID-19 survival stories. But I think before we go there, let's hear from some more entrepreneurs and some more survival stories. So John, but I just want to welcome you and thank you so much for being here. Awesome. Okay, cool. Let's go next with Rita. Rita, you had your heart up.
Hi, Nestine. Yes, I did. And I want to actually just share stories from a total different viewpoint. And that is from what I experienced, what my clients have shared with me. What COVID has, the impact that COVID has had on them. And the one really, really big thing that came out, and I believe that the impact of COVID on our mental wellness, we will only see the after effects from now on. And this is what's coming out. The violence during COVID, because two people were forced into a house, locked into a house, and they didn't want to be locked into a house. The violence that took place there. I cannot share with you guys the stories of people that were caught up in this, how do you restore that person's dignity, his self-worth, his self-love? And that is the pain that humanity is sitting with today as a result of COVID. And that is the people that I'm working with currently. And it is just amazing to let them share with you what has happened to them in COVID. The divorces that's taking place, the gender-based violence that's taking place. And that brings you to a point of, for me, absolute gratitude that even in COVID, where we all battled to survive, but we have survived. Gratitude that I'm so grateful that I have not had that kind of experience, because it is beyond imagination, heartbreaking, painful. You can't describe it. And for me, what COVID has taught is absolute compassion, no judgment, and extreme appreciation for what I have got right now. Rita Skuman, Coaching with Heart.
Thank you so much, Rita. What a beautiful COVID-19 survival story. Thank you so much for sharing that. I mean, we often forget, like, there's a lot of small business survival stories, and at the same time, we're also humans. You know, as much as we don't want to be, we want to be just the entrepreneurs, but we're also the humans behind the entrepreneurship. So thank you for reminding us of that. That's very special.
I think before we move on to our next person, I think what we all need to understand is that, you know, something had happened, but the effects happened for a long time after. So, you know, and it'll affect everybody differently. And, you know, whether you're a business or whether you're an individual or your experience during the time, you know, each person's effect will be different. But if we look at communities as a whole, they struggled. And communities consist of individuals. So I know we're talking about businesses and we're talking about survival stories, but if we can take it back one notch, because the individual makes up the business, the person. Without the people, there is no business. So, I mean, I was talking to Ernestine earlier. I had an experience earlier today where, you know, for me to go into the shop and take my hard-earned money and go and buy something, sometimes you just don't think that the impact of the financial situation, well, in both this country and other countries around the world, that there are a lot of people that actually can't do that. Their finances have been wrecked, and something as simple as somebody standing in front of you in the queue and wants to buy 2 Med Lemon, you know, that lemon drink for the flu. And they get told, no, it's 7 Rand. And she's got 10 Rand. And 7 Rand is just too much. So she decides not to buy it. She'd rather keep her 10 Rand as a whole 10 Rand than pay for 2 Med Lemon. And then I'm thinking to myself, but it's just 2 Med Lemon. It's just 2 Med Lemon, 7 Rand. So I buy the Med Lemon. I had to hunt it down and chase it with the Med Lemon. But if we look at the individuals that were actually impacted, the individuals that make up a community, and those communities make up businesses, individuals have been affected, and it may be on a small scale. So if you find yourself in that situation where you are seeing something that is the effect of COVID, whether it be financial or whether it be a situation, whether it be emotional, and you have the ability to reach out, us as the community, it is your responsibility to do so if you can. What's 7 Rand to me? It meant nothing. When I gave her the 2 Med Lemon, it was just 7 Rand, but it meant a whole lot more to her than just 7 Rand. If you can, get involved.
I love that, Peter. Let's move to Scotland for a bit. Bodil, you also had your hearts up. Please share with us your COVID-19 survival story.
Yes, of course I will. Where do I start? Obviously, 2 years ago, I had to come back from Australia 10 days early than I had originally wanted to, because I was there with visiting my family. One of my daughters lives in Australia. My 2 granddaughters are there. So I wasn't terribly happy that I had to come home. But of course, it was just as well that I did, because otherwise I'd have been stuck, I don't know, in Australia, maybe in Dubai, I don't know, because everything closed 2 days after we got back. However, I think it was kind of nice that there was clean air to breathe for at least a couple of months. There was no traffic on the roads. Everybody was meeting online. And that's where I think my survival really started, was online, because, you know, I've been networking for years, and it was always local. It was in Glasgow or Edinburgh, or sometimes even as far away as Perth. Never south of the border in England, though, never, ever. So when you go online, you get to meet such different people, whether it's in the UK or whether it's in America or Singapore or Australia, South Africa. You know, we all speak English, but our cultures are all very, very different. And that's where it gets really, really exciting, because people have got such wonderful cultures. Now, I lived in South Africa, so I know a little bit about the South African culture. But I didn't know so much about the Australians and the Americans. And I think that the whole survival comes from that positive attitude from everyone of, let's get this done. Let's just get together and just chat and just keep talking over, excuse the French, but the crap that's going on in our heads, in our lives. But yes, I also understand from Peter's point of view about community. I can't really remember, because it's a while since I lived in South Africa, but I know that here the community is very, very strong. There were always food points, not so much now, but there are still some food points where families who are really unable to survive, to put food on the table, to heat their homes. It's winter here, or just coming out of winter. But we've now also got an awful lot of Ukrainian people coming in to the country, and obviously helping them to survive too. So it's more of a global community, and to me, that's what it's all about. You have to be open, open to the universe, but open to people coming in and being able to help them in any way that you can. And I think from that point, I have met so many wonderful people, that it has boosted my business, it's boosted my self-confidence, it's just boosted everything. Loving life. Can't wait to go and, you know, come back out to South Africa and maybe meet some of you guys, to meet some of the people that I've met in New York, especially. I've got people in Canada that I'm in contact with all the time as well. And it's just going to be so wonderful to meet face to face. So that's where my survival has come from, online. And I'm Bodil, go paperless.
Thank you so much, Bodil. That's a beautiful story. And I love that you've gained confidence and friends out of this and you're loving life. I mean, our COVID-19 survival story, I guess, is kind of similar. And we're actually both better off now than we were pre-COVID. I feel so lucky to be able to say that. Because of the globalization, it's opened up so many opportunities. So,
well, I mean, if you think about it, our entire business was revolved around connecting people. And because people were so stuck originally when COVID hit, they were like, oh, what do we do? What do we do? And they were forced online, and it became a positive thing. We were supplying the space where they could get together. That to me was, and it naturally formed a community, and there was just so much power in it, because it was more than just a bunch of business people getting together to see how they could better improve each other's businesses.
it's like family.
It wasn't about that, because they were supporting each other emotionally, they were supporting each other financially. I mean, we had stories where one person, and I won't forget this because his name was David. He actually passed away during COVID, from COVID, but months before, when it was all this lockdown, and he was like, guys, I'm not going to make it. He was running this magazine. He needed to sell advertising space. A lot of you guys that were around at the time will remember this. And the members of the community were just like, well, how much advertising space do you need to sell? I'll buy a year's worth of this segment. And somebody else was like, I will buy 6 months worth of this segment. And they came together and they actually saw him through.
Yeah.
Which was
was a good feeling.
It was a good feeling, and that's what the community was doing. It wasn't just business. It was real humans, real humanity, real community. That means so much more. Business, you know what? It's a byproduct. It happens naturally in this space.
Dr. Meyer, please tell us your COVID-19 survival story.
I think Dr. Meyer could survive anything.
Yeah, he'll just run through it like multiple times.
Hi, guys. Look, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending where you are. Look, I think what COVID did, in my view, I mean, it has reduced the business to its smallest molecule, which is human beings. All over the world, we are all reduced to who we are. As useless as we could be and powerless. On my point, what I noted during COVID, you needed to really connect with your deeper self. You know, it provided a space where you needed to connect your spirit, being your spirituality, your passion and your goals, which are your career and your profession, and your society, which is the community. In fact, there was no any other way around. In my mind, these were the three things that had to come together, where you really needed to have a conversation with yourself and see where you fit in the bigger globe. Now, what I found is that that ability, at least, some people dealt with COVID better than the others. And I think is that all of a sudden you wake up and you are in four walls, like it never happened before. And you have no choice, but you are told to sit in the four walls. It provided a space to reflect and to really understand the connectivity of human beings, humanity, in the bigger space of business. It really forced, most of us to understand that business is about people. There's no business without human beings. And Stephen spoke about this, and Rita. It's when you get to that consciousness that business is about people, people are determined, are the ones who make business. It forced, in my view, businesses to be intentional and to be impactful. So the time for fancy slogans was irrelevant. You could write your slogan, but it was irrelevant. What mattered to humanity and to human beings was to say, how is what Meyer doing touching the life of the society, of the community, using the vehicle of a business? And is that intention of purpose and intentionality of actions that really kept the light of moving and moving online. I mean, many businesses were forced, in fact, to migrate to what is it's not a new thing anymore. That's where we are. We live here. I would not have met with the many people. I would not have met with Brian, with Bodell, with many people if there wasn't COVID. So in the bigger scheme of things, while there's been a serious calamity and pain, but the end product, as it is evolving right now, it has opened the space for collaborations into a real world without borders. In fact, as it is now, there should not have been borders in the first place. When I leave this meeting, I'll probably be in another meeting in Canada and in Europe, something that will not have. But that linkage of yourself as a person, intention of purpose, and business goals, in my mind, that's what kept the fire burning during COVID. It's Mayor Ntwesane at Financium. Many speak about wealth, but many know how, few know how to create it. Financium, we help you. Thank you.
And that's not your only business, Maya. Mention your COVID baby.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Look, as a school, we teach, that's what we do. But I mean, currently, for example, we're also doing a financial wellness survey for South African professional football players. We're running that. It's an annual survey. We'll release the report before the season closes. We've also launched it because in a school, we're also interested in business research that is not based on theory, but that is based on what entrepreneurs like the ones sitting on the table are saying. So the Financial Business Review magazine that we will launch, not magazine, the journal, that's really going to take stories of business, how business is done by entrepreneurs sitting on this table. And I'm not discrediting any academic work. I'm saying we are interested in actionable literature for business people. And lastly, next month we'll be launching a work of the past 10 years, the Financial magazine. Again, where we want a magazine for business people by business people.
Thank you so much, Dr. Maya. And I just so enjoyed your...
That sounds like a famous speech. By the people, for the people.
Well, that's something that all of us in this tribe actually always mention.
Exactly. I mean, it doesn't get better than that.
Yeah, exactly. The tribe is also a tribe.
So if you want to read a business magazine that's put together by business people that put the content together for the it makes perfect sense.
I just love listening to you, Maya. It's just so inspirational. You're like, oh, and this is what happened, and this is how it's good, and remember who you are. It's beautiful. And on the YouTube live, we also have some tribe members chipping in. So Renee is saying, I personally survived COVID because of this tribe. I will forever be thankful for the support during the past 2 years. We love you, Renee. No one has done better than you guys. Like, Renee has the best COVID survival story ever. Like, he basically lost his job, was retrenched, I'm not sure, or resigned, something like that. But he left the job world, and now he's earning 120%, between 120 and 140%. I don't know, Renee, you can correct me.
There is a paper being written where we will get the update on what that percentage is.
Oh, yeah.
So let's,
the
last time we heard it was 120%.
Yeah, of his salary.
Yeah.
Like, who does that? That's just like showing off. Thank you, Renee. And then Natalie also chipping in saying, haha, run through it, excuse the pun, Nastine. And then also she likes the intentional and impactful. Well said. Thank you so much, Natalie. So yeah, just loving this tribe today and all the good vibes. Guys, I really need this. So thank you so much for sharing. Brian, let's go to you, to Canada, where it's always cold. What's your COVID-19 survival story?
I think I'm still living it right now, actually. But yeah, I put a little joke there that, one win is I still have a business. I have colleagues in the fitness and health industry that own gyms, that are still running, are starting to begin their process of thriving again. So I guess sometimes when I get frustrated, I got to check myself and go, well, you actually still have a business. Because of my ability to pivot and go leave the gym space and go online, I was actually able to fly under the radar a little bit. So without things going online as well, I would be here right now meeting all you fine people and enjoying coffee and water and communicating with people from different time zones. A lot of you have mentioned some of the great things already. Like, for example, like my son, I watched him pretty much grow up in front of me in the last couple of years. He had his best report card ever just recently. He's playing rep hockey now. I'm so proud of what he's been doing and be able to witness that. And you know, I can't take much credit for that. He's just, you know, you got to acknowledge the kids. Like, talk about controlling only what you control. The kids had very little control in any of this other than to just keep going, so we can learn from them. This whole process has been a giant mirror in my face saying, you've been talking a lot of smack for a while now, so you might as well get to work. You know, it's like the message is almost like there's a much bigger game being played right now, and it's time to get off the bench. And that is scary as hell. In some cases, when you feel like you can get called off the bench in the middle of a fourth quarter football game and you gotta be like Rudy Rudiger and make that first tackle. Am I ready? Do I have enough? Have I done the work? Right. So I think that's what I'm picking up from this whole process. I think the people, I like to acknowledge all of you and the people I've met. People has been everything. Even if just one little conversation, one little nugget you get from a friend, it's been really amazing to be able to be a part of this, and opportunities are happening now that I'm being thrust into to rise up and experience a bigger version of myself. So yeah, I'm just grateful and, you know, a little bit freaked out, but at the same time, I know all of you are here. I have people around me supporting me, and I'm here to help as well. So I see bigger, brighter things to come.
Yeah, that's absolutely epic.
And you are?
And I am Brian DeCastro, domestic athlete, helping you find the life force for success, happiness in business and in life.
Thank you, Brian. Epic, epic, epic.
Yeah, I think this reminds me of our tagline. And one of our taglines is saving the global economy one small business at a time. But it's kind of pointless if we find people that we can help. We need to help those people help others too. There needs to be this knock-on effect. This is not just a help me club where we get together and we sit in a little huddle and just help each other. That's kind of pointless, because then it just keeps things very uneven. We have to bring everything back to the community. We have to spread it around. We have to teach people that as much as we help them, they help others. If there's not that way of thinking involved, and with the person that we're trying to help, if that way of thinking is not there, then we are wasting our time. Quite literally. It needs to create a community where the community is helping the community, and as it grows, we are helping more and helping more. If there is not that mentality, get out of my space. I'm sorry. That's literally as blunt as I can be. This community needs to be a strong community where we do help each other, where we do build each other, where we then find other people to help. It's not a bless me club, which is, we don't want to grow a bless me club at all.
No, we want to grow way bigger than that. Like, we want to do things like buy the world kitchen and just operate it. And
yes, please.
So to get there, but that's also one of the most awesome things about this tribe. Like, even like, I mean, when Brian came on board, like, yes, we were helping Brian, but just as much as we were helping Brian, Brian was helping us and everyone else in the tribe. I mean, Brian's one of the main reasons why I started exercising again after like 16 years of just ignoring myself completely, I started paying attention to myself again. I will be forever thankful for that, because that's part of my own personal recovery.
Now that you've mentioned it, can you imagine taking a month off just to go work in the World Kitchen?
That would be amazing.
Everybody does know what the World Kitchen is, right? Yes? No? Kind of? No? Okay, the World Kitchen is an organization where if there is a devastation in a particular part of the world, this is a mobile kitchen that is led by some of the world's leading chefs, where they take this kitchen and they just move it to wherever the problem is, whether it's an earthquake or whether it's a flood, and they set up kitchen and they look after community, and they are sponsored. So food, and they make meals for the day, 3 meals a day. They keep communities fed, and then they just pack up when they're not needed and move to the next disaster. Literally, they've got like a set-up camp where they're like, oh, another disaster, off we go.
Like, we can literally take the whole tribe for a whole month and just go do that. Like, imagine how amazing that would be.
Who's into peeling potatoes?
I hate potatoes, but I'll peel them for that. Anyway, guys, so it's that time of the show where this is very, very special now, okay? So on the edge of your seats, I almost said sheets, but then I didn't. Sorry.
But then you did.
But then I did. Natasha is one of our most amazing new tribe members. From the day she joined us, she has been like family. Natasha Ungerer, I don't know how to pronounce that, but she was introduced to us by Janine Lingenfelder, that has been with us throughout COVID. So that's just how this rolls. And Natasha, actually brought to our attention that she's working with an amazing client called Pink Loerie nonprofit organization, and they have launched an amazing initiative just to give small businesses a chance to tell their actual COVID-19 survival stories. So now we're moving over to John, representing the Pink Loerie organization. John, we're so happy to have you with us on the show today. Thank you so much for making it. Please, can you tell us more about why you guys decided to launch this awesome initiative, what the initiative is, and how we can take advantage of it?
And how can we help?
Thank you very much. Well, where do you start? We took over in 2010. It's an existing festival that takes place in a small town called Knysna in the Western Cape, the Garden Route. It was established in 2000 exactly, 22 years ago. And we took over management of it in 2010. During that period, we decided to take the small little magazine that's so tiny it can fit in your back pocket, and to change it into a full gloss magazine. So the Pink Loerie magazine was born about 6 years ago. And with COVID, we were busy organizing the festival. We were busy organizing an international event. We're also involved with Mr. Gay World. And we started doing the final preparations. We were in Port Elizabeth, done the last meeting, got into the vehicle, started driving to Knysna to go and finalize the last stuff there before the people arrived. And it was announced COVID, complete lockdown. So we drove all the way to Knysna, didn't know what to do. We were speechless the whole way there, the whole way back. It was like, what are we going to do? We've got all these expenses that we just paid. We've got everything that we need to do, and it's complete lockdown. 2 months into lockdown, we found a way via our NPO to basically travel. And we started driving up and down between Pretoria and Knysna to take PPEs to the old age home and to take stuff to people that need it. And we started also reaching out to the informal settlements. Between our organization, one of the nightclubs in Pretoria, and a few friends, we started a thing called Tickle Me Pink for Tourism, where we basically said, okay, if you can't fly, you have to drive. So start driving and support the local businesses on the way, because they need your support. That's where we got the idea for Tour de Queer. It's all these words that we play with to try and get people to remember what it's about. We then decided 2 years ago to do a festival. We weren't allowed to do something big. It was small. We did something intimate. People didn't want to advertise. So this year we decided to basically, instead of charging people to advertise in the magazine, to say to them, we give you 2 full pages, 1 advert, 1 story. And you don't have to pay for it. You can make a donation towards the foundation. That money goes again towards our outreach programs that we do. But we want you guys to advertise. I don't care if it's R5 that you donate at the end of the day, but we just want your story. We want your advert and we want your story. And Natasha has been a driving force behind me, keeping me sane and doing amazing artwork and stuff. And she's just been pushing and helping where she can. We were fortunate now to get 110 pairs of primary school shoes to take down this coming weekend. Too nice not to go and distribute there. That's besides the produce that we take to 2 soup kitchens that we support, that we've been supporting for the past 3-4 months, that we've been down about twice a month to go and deliver stuff to them. And it doesn't take a lot from anybody to contribute something, but to walk into a place and say, listen, here's a car full of merchandise for you. What do you need? Where can we help? And they stand there and they say, how did you know we need vegetables? We need this, we need that. You just load and you go. And that's basically what we've been doing since the start of COVID. And with the magazine now, it is really, we're giving it out. We're giving it free of charge. It's going to be distributed digitally. In that way, it can be distributed worldwide and more people can see. And if you guys want to advertise, just pop us an email with your adverts and it will be placed free of charge, no strings attached. And that's basically it.
That's absolutely amazing. Guys, can we just all unmute and just like give an applause, please?
I think that's...
Imagine hundreds more of us on YouTube doing the same, John. I think that's absolutely stunning, the way you guys are supporting small businesses from all over the world. It's what's needed right now. It's the only way we're going to save our economy, the global economy. So it's absolutely amazing. And I think that you guys are making this available to people and they can choose if they want to donate or not is such an amazing hand up from you guys. So yeah, people, please let's get this message out there. If you're watching YouTube right now or Facebook, share it.
Let's do it this way. We don't have that many followers. We're building a following, but we don't rely on just our following. We rely on the following of every single member that we have. We may have a following of what would be 600-700 people, 600 and something odd. But at the same time, everybody else in this group has a following too. So let's take this, let's push this to all of our followings, and let's rely on that and do this as a tribe push. I think this is a story that needs to get out there. John, is there any, if you can drop us a link to the that we can actually put in the description below, that we can actually all share.
So our producer already has the link and he put it in the description on the YouTube.
On the YouTube. Okay, that's great
Yeah,
stuff.
so down here, guys, if you go there on YouTube, in the description, there's the link. Just go get it there and then place your adverts with John. And if you can, send a donation, but more importantly, just make sure all the small businesses out there know about this absolutely amazing opportunity.
No, I think this is brilliant because COVID may be, you may see people wearing less masks, people are more free to move around, people are more free to go do shopping. Doesn't mean that the effects are over. There are communities out there that are still battling, still struggling. They still need to push through. They still have needs, and we still have to play our part. If we are not playing our part, we're part of the problem. So grab it, share it. If you have the ability to donate, donate. If you don't, show some moral support. Share it. That's as good.
Twitter, Facebook, Insta, everything.
In regards to me, that's like your Twitterface.
TikToky. Wherever you're active, just tell everyone. Everyone needs to know about this. John, thank you so much for joining us on the Coffee Shop Show today. And from all the entrepreneurs in the world, a big, big thank you to you and your foundation and what you guys are doing for not just the South African community, but for entrepreneurs worldwide.
I think we can actually make some. Sorry, John. I think we can make some more magic happen. Maya, I think you need to have a coffee with John. John, I think you need to have a coffee with Maya. I think the two of you have got some things that you can actually discuss and talk about. Sorry, I like to make things happen in the background.
We will have coffee with John.
Coffee changes everything.
Before this week is over.
Amazing, and that's what it's all about. Another coffee gets arranged on the Coffee Shop Show for entrepreneurs. Guys, if you're watching live right now, our producer Chris has shared the link in the live chat as well, because he's just absolutely amazing like that. Otherwise, just go in the description as well. The link for John is there. So thank you so much for asking where you get the link. Lots of people are already very excited about advertising in your magazine, John. So let's see how far we can push it. Let's make it go viral. Guys, I absolutely adore all of you. Thank you so much for spending this hour with us today. Remember, the Coffee Shop Show for Entrepreneurs is something we do every single week. And we just bring entrepreneurs from around the world together and we talk about entrepreneurial stuff.
Yeah. So if you're a tribe member, share it. If there's anything that you need to share, this is the one.
And so we'll see you in the next one. Same time, same place. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, share this show, and click on the notification bell icon so that you can get notified every single time we go live. We love you so much, and we know this is the year, guys. All your wildest entrepreneurial dreams will come true. Just about surrounding yourself with the right people. Lots of love. See you soon. Bye.
Have a good week, everyone. Bye-bye.